Hardaway maneuvers away from a closeout. Luka maneuvers away from a closeout. And that is about the best dunk we've ever seen out of Luka. This is a holy moment right here.
Nice, so.
It's real nice.
Been a timeout call, but we ain't going nowhere. We're going to let you look at this again a time or two. Look at that face.
Hi, this is Luka Doncic, and you're listening to the Mavs Step Back Podcast.
All right, guys, welcome into another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Drew Johnson. Coach Drew, you can find both of us on Twitter at, or I guess you call it X now because of what Elon Musk is doing, but at Dalton_Trigg and at Coach Drew 33. Today, we have another special guest for you guys. It wasn't too long ago. We were talking to Derek Lively, and now we have another Dallas Mavericks rookie we're talking to. It's Jordan Walker, a.k.a. Jelly. Jordan, before we get started here, do you go by Jordan or do you go by Jelly? Like, what do people call you most?
I mean,
normally?
it doesn't matter to me. My family, obviously, they call me Jordan, but my mom, she called me Pop. But my teammates and stuff at UAB, they either call me 10 because my number 10, but majority of the time they call me Jelly. Like, even my coaches call me Jelly. Like, people who are in the gym call me Jelly. Like the medical staff, Jelly. So, I mean, I'm fine with it, whatever they want to call me. Jordan, Jelly. It doesn't matter.
Just going with the flow. I like that. Well, before we get started with our actual math stuff, I do want to thank you for, making some time for us here, because not only you, but my guy Drew here, you guys are new fathers. You're girl dads. Drew's daughter was born on Tuesday of last week, the 18th, and then you told us before we jumped on here that your daughter was born on the 19th, the day after. So you guys have been very busy lately and trying to get acclimated to your new lifestyle there. So talk to us a little bit about that. How have you been able to manage this last week with all that going on?
I mean, it's definitely something new. You don't sleep a lot for sure. You definitely don't sleep a lot. You change a lot of diapers. And you wash a lot of bottles. So, but I mean, it's the greatest blessing I feel like you can have. That's something that I feel like God gifts you with. And I mean, I'm beyond grateful that he gifted me with her. And that's the 19th is absolutely the best day of my life. And it just changed my perspective on a lot of things, because I never thought I could love something that much, especially someone you don't really know. Like, I just met her a week ago, but I love her as if I knew her my whole life, so that type of love and the way I look at her is just it's indescribable. I feel like until you become a parent, you don't really understand that love until you truly like have your own kid.
Yeah, it's so very hard to describe, what you feel, in the delivery room whenever they put your daughter in your hands. Like, I was speechless. Like, I could not. I can't even begin to explain the way that I feel about it right now.
Yeah.
How many hours of sleep are you getting?
I mean, me and my girl, we try to sleep when she sleeps. So maybe we get like a good 2 hours. Sometimes if she's really tired, we get 3, but you're supposed to wake her up after every 3 to 4 hours to feed her before she's fed. So you're only going to get around 3 at the maximum. So, you ain't going to get longer than that. So,
well, the good thing is hopefully, it's all downhill from here as far as like being easier. So, I mean, hopefully, by the time, training camp rolls around and hopefully the first part of the season going into the season and everything, things have calmed down a little bit. I think it was good that it happened now and not
absolutely.
when all that was going on.
But I think for now, I mean, it's easier than the first day. The first day was harder than it is today. I'm sort of just getting used to it, understanding her sleep patterns, understanding how you feel me, how to change the diapers and the bottles
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's getting easier and easier, and I feel like it's gonna. Of course, you're gonna be tired, but I feel like I'm tired, but I'm sort of like used to not sleeping a lot now after it's been a week, so it's regular to me now.
Well, look, before any of this stuff came up with the Mavs, I mean, I've been tuned into the Mavs. I've been a Mavs fan, so to speak, since I was little, and then I got into the media stuff here in like 2016 or 2017. And so, I mean, I've been, following them for a while. I've been covering them for a while now, and I'm a Southern Miss alumni too. So, when we were talking the other day, I was like, this is pretty cool, how this has kind of come full circle because, I knew you at the time, but, it didn't click until after, I saw you in Summer League and everything. I was like, I have seen this before. Where have I seen this before? And sure enough, you made it a routine of torching my alma mater there at Southern Miss. So, what was the deal those last couple of times? I mean, especially, y'all beat UAB beat Southern Miss in NIT this past season, and then the season before last was their last year in Conference USA, and then that's when you really went off on them this game. So, well, what did you have against my alma mater there?
I didn't have nothing against Southern Miss. I would probably say I just had something against Conference USA. I wanted to dominate. I wanted them to know that I'm the best and that I'm the best player in that conference night in and night out, and that's all I tried to do. I mean, I hate this year. I was injured for a couple games, but I mean, the year before, that was a dominant year for sure. And we went to the tournament, which is a blessing.
Well, talk to us a little bit. We'll get into the Summer League stuff, but before all of that happened, I mean, what was the pre-draft process like for you? I mean, did you have a pretty good idea that the Mavs were a legitimate landing spot for you? I mean, did you work out with them? Did you work out with other teams?
Yeah. I did work out with the Mavs. I didn't work out with a lot of teams. I only worked out with 2 teams. I worked out for the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. And both workouts, in my opinion, I think I played really, 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 really well, But I mean, I didn't know anything like this was going to happen with the Mavs. I mean, I know I had a really great workout. I know I shot the ball really well. They have like the Mavs 100 thing. It's where you shoot 100 threes and it's like moving off the dribble and stuff like that. And I went 86 out of 100. So nice. I know they were really impressed with that, So, but other than that, I hoped, and I prayed for it, but I didn't know that the Mavs, like, they liked me that much, So, and to even consider me, for a training camp deal. So that it definitely was unexpected, but definitely an amazing moment.
How long after the draft, when the dust started settling, did you hear from your guy Dan Hazan with Hazan Sports? Great guys over there. I didn't realize until we started setting this up that Dennis Smith Jr. had gone with them too, and he's been on this pod several times, and we have a good working relationship with him. So it was cool that we had that similar connection there before we started doing this. But before, after the draft, I mean, what were the conversations like with your agent? Like when he called you and told you like, hey, the Mavs want you, we're going this route.
Yeah. I went to his office. We were all in his office, like his headquarters. And I think probably I would say the draft, because the draft, I don't know why it went on crazy long this year. I don't know why. Like it was a long time. And I think it ended. When did the thing end? Like around like midnight almost.
Yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. But anyways, so I probably found out maybe around like 12:30, I would say. So we were in our car and we were driving over to the office, and he was in the office there waiting for us, like me and other players in my agency or whatever. And we were just waiting or whatever, and then he gets a call. And then he looks at me, and he puts the dude on speaker. Terry Sullivan, he puts him on speaker, and then definitely says, "We would love to have you come for training camp and stuff like that. I'm like, wow. And when he said it, I said like I'm grateful for the opportunity and I appreciate it, but it was surreal. Like it felt fake. Like I wanted to cry, but then it was just like I don't know if this is real. It just felt so surreal. But I mean, that's
and it probably didn't. I mean, I'm sure it felt more real as the night went on, but I mean, it probably didn't feel really real until you got to Las Vegas. And started or practiced before Las Vegas.
Yeah. It didn't start to be real until I was in their practice gym for the second time, not for the workout, but like once we got back to the practice gym, and I'm like, oh, it's real. Like,
yeah,
like this is real. Like, my name is really associated with an NBA team. Like, this is real. So then that's when I really like it sunk into me. And now, obviously, it's not regular. Obviously, it's a blessing every day. Like, I truly am blessed. Every day I wake up, I think about it all the time. But just like now, it's like sort of normal to me now. Like, this is what I got to do, and this is what I got to continue to keep working towards.
Well, obviously things went very well for you in Las Vegas. I mean, you ended up having a great summer league performance. I hate that, and we all hate to see Jaden Hardy go down with an injury like he did, but I feel like it presented a very nice opportunity for you to shine, and you did shine. You helped lead us to a 4-1 record.
Yeah.
So
48% from three, and shooting nearly 7 a game. So that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Shooting will always get you in the floor, no matter what level you're playing at. But obviously, you performed very well. Just what was the experience like?
It was an experience of a lifetime. NCAA tournament was a huge stage. Don't get me wrong. Like when we played Houston, biggest stage, you know what I'm saying? Especially with the fans wise. But when I say the NBA Summer League stage was 10 times that, maybe not as many people there, but just the type of people that are there, people that there who can truly change your life with a phone call. You know what I'm saying? So way more pressure and stuff like that. So it was an experience of a lifetime. And I continue to say this, and I don't want to sound repetitive in every time I'm asked this, but I never was the guy when I was younger. I never was the main guy. Like I always had to continue to work until, because I was always talented, but other people were more talented than me, when I was younger. But I understood that talent only lasts for so long. And I had to continue to work. And I never stopped working. And then the people who were so-called better than me when I was younger, I ended up really passing them by a mile as I got older, So just having that mindset and understanding that you have to be ready whenever your number's called. It was pretty much like easy for me because I had that mindset. Some people, like when their mind is so full of like, oh, I should be playing, or oh, I'm mad, it affects your game. So that's one thing. And even the coaches were talking to me about like how the first game I didn't play and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, listen, like I promise you it doesn't hurt my feelings because I know what I'm capable of. And I'm extremely confident in my game. And I don't want not to sound arrogant, but I know how good I am. So whether I don't get on the floor, it's okay, because there's going to be a time when I do, you know what I'm saying? And I don't wish bad on anybody, but obviously McKinley Wright goes down, freak accident, and then Hardy gets hurt too. And then it's like I had to step up, So it's just like I was ready for it because mentally I was ready for it. Mentally I knew once I play, I know what I'm capable of. So
I feel like that mindset, fits perfectly, into the Mavs culture. They've always valued players like that over the years. Next man up mentality, and guys who have that, ultimate confidence in themselves. So I feel like it's a seamless fit in that regard too. But so you signed the Exhibit 10 contract. So basically, what that means is you're one of the top candidates to get a two-way contract before the season starts, because that can be converted to that. So going into training camp, what is your biggest goal? I mean, what are you trying to build on the most coming from that good summer league performance and bringing it into training camp where you're going to be with guys, like Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, competing against all those guys in training camp?
Yeah, most importantly, I want to show that I can defend. Offensively, I feel like I can play with the best of them, and I truly believe that. Offensively, no matter how small I am, I feel like I can go get buckets no matter what level it is, college, NBA, anywhere. I know I can score the ball, and I know I can make, and I know I can create things and make things happen offensively no matter what. But it's the defensive part that people always judge you on because you're not as tall as people. So even if you are a great defender, they're automatically going to say you're a defensive liability just because you're shorter.
Right.
So even you can average the most steals, they still going to say he's a defensive liability because he's small. So that's the part of my game where I really want to show people that I can defend. And people won't just be able to just take advantage of me because I'm shorter than them. That's the part I want to show, because if I show that part, the offensive part is going to take care of itself. That's the part I'm not even truly worried about. Obviously, I'm going to continue to work on my game, continue to develop, and continue to make reads quicker and faster, especially in the pick and roll, because the Dallas Mavericks are very pick and roll oriented. That's what they do with their guards. And just being able to make sure I be able to catch and shoot, because when you have players on the floor like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, you're not going to have the ball in your hands. But the thing about me, I'm not worried about that because I can shoot the ball. So
yeah,
I don't need the ball in my hands at all.
That's the thing. Anybody that ends up with the Mavs these days, it's like, can you hit an open jump shot? Because there are plenty of them to go around.
Exactly, and I love stuff like that. In college, I barely got open jump shots, and the majority of them I did were open. I think I hit more than 50% of them on synergy, like that. The open, uncontested jump shots, I think I hit like at least 50% of them. So I know I can make an open jump shot. I'm not worried about that. But it's just the defensive part. I want to truly show people and show the organization that, like, hey, this, like, he really can defend. He might be little, it's like JJ Barea, like, gets after you. And yeah, don't get me wrong, people score on him. Okay, that happens. People score on someone who's 6'8", and the best defender on the team. It happens. Like Luka had I think 60 versus Spurs. You're gonna tell me some of those players on the Spurs are not good defenders? Yeah, they are, but stuff happens. People score, but it's being able to just not be a liability, being able to, hey, like, we can sub him in, and we know for a fact defensively people are not just going to be able to take over on him, so that's
people can say what they want to about JJ Barea, but still to this day, I know Dirk was the finals MVP. I know they had Tyson Chandler, Jason Terry, Sean Merritt, that whole championship team. But the series shifted when Rick Carlisle inserted Barea into the starting lineup in Game 4.
Yep.
And they didn't lose a game from that point on. So, that it doesn't matter what your size is. If you have the, the will and the talent to go with that, you have a shot to make it. And also, I don't know, I think they have you officially listed at like 5'11", but they had JJ Barea listed at 6 foot for years, like his entire career. And then in 2019, they changed it and bumped him down to like 5'10". So whatever they have you at, I think they need to like bump you up a few inches just.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. 6 foot looks good.
Yeah.
Compared to a little girl, like even from 5'11" to 6 foot on paper, looks way different.
I think it's the least they can do as long as they let JJ Barea get away with it.
They needed all these stories of people growing to 7 feet over this summer. They need to say that about me.
Hey, you never know. You're still in that age range where something could happen there. But
I pray to God. He makes me 6'2". Oh, it's a problem.
getting the NBA weight rooms and with those those level of trainers and everything, and maybe something special happen.
Yeah, literally.
Well, look, I know you're obviously the first Jordan Walker. You want to be your own guy, but over time, who are some guys you have studied and kind of molded your game after? Who are some guys you look up to as far as how you play your game?
There's a lot. I'm a basketball junkie. I eat, sleep, breathe basketball. Like, how some people watch television shows.
Yeah.
I go on Synergy and watch random point guards just to see how they play. Like that's what I do on my time off. Like I promise you, I watch podcasts about basketball and how people think about the game and stuff like that. That's just what I do. But I mean, the first person to come to mind to me, my favorite player, Kyrie Irving.
Oh.
Everybody who knows me knows he's my favorite player. I've been a fan of him since I was probably 10 years old, because he went to St. Pat. He went to St. Pat's. That's literally the reason why I went there. And I told my mom, like my mom always tell me the story. Like I told her, I said, Mom, like because where I'm from, we had something called MSG varsity in the tri-state area, like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. I think it went to that. Philly, it went down to Philly too. And it would show all the games on MSG varsity, and you can constantly replay them all the time for free too. So I would watch every one of his games all the time. And there was a time where I would tell my mom, like, Mom, like, I'm gonna go to St. Pat's like Kyrie. I'm gonna go there. And she said, I know you. And I really ended up going there, But yeah, he's the reason why I went there. But he's a person like I look up to more than anybody. But other people I try to model my game after would be like I like Chris Paul. I like his pace and I like his leadership. I like how no matter who he plays with on the floor, they listen to him. Not necessarily saying he's the best player, but they all have that respect for him to where, like, when he speaks, they listen. Whether it's LeBron or KD or anybody like that, when he speaks, they listen. I like. I actually been watching, especially because of the Mavs thing. Even before that, like I was watching a lot of Luka this year, because I just love the reads he makes coming off the pick and roll like that. How he gets it to the opposite corner, like whether it's the left hand or the right hand. And people don't understand. It sounds simple, but that's probably one of the hardest reads in basketball. Like you can hit a pocket pass roll or a guy lifting up. Those are easy passes, or a quick swing when you're getting blitzed on a ball screen. But I'm talking about when the bottom man's helping on the roll and then that dude's helping on the other one. That corner pass to the opposite corner is a hard pass. You know what I'm saying? And he does it effortlessly. And it's on point every time. So that's something like a person I watch. Who else would I would say? Tyler Ulis. I watched a lot of him when I was younger. He's someone I looked up to a lot when I was younger too. And I actually became close with him too. And I speak to him from time to time. So that was definitely a tough person I watched, because especially how he gets after you defensively. Like he was, I think he was SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
And Player of the Year in the SEC, I think, that year. So, yeah, he's a person too. I started watching JJ Barea way more. Just because
it's a good one to watch. And I love that, Kyrie was the guy that topped your list, because, like I said, going into training camp, you're going to be with him up close and personal, and, getting to compete against him, getting to, you can pick his brain and everything. I mean, have you already connected with him, in Vegas?
I spoke to him. Yeah, for sure. I actually, the first time I've met him in person, I was playing in some pro-am in New Jersey two years ago, and he was coaching the other team while I was playing against his team. So when I got subbed in, I was looking at him and like I had to glance back again. I was just staring. I'm like, oh my God, like that's Kyrie Irving. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And then I just get back to playing the game or whatever. And then like after I hit like a 3 or something, I think like it was going into timeout, or like someone was on the free throw line, then it went into timeout. And he was just like, I know who you are. I know who you are, Mr. Player of the Year. I know who you are. And when he said that, I'm like, oh, he really know who I am. like he knows who I am, and that was a surreal moment for me. But ever since then, like he follows me on Instagram. I speak to him from time to time. He's a really good dude. But I mean, I definitely obviously want to spend more time with him and definitely just learn more about the game. Just pick his brain and understand what he sees and why he thinks the way he does and just stuff like that. Like I really do want to learn what he knows,
Well, I'm not shocked that he knew who you were and had, kind of been following, your game because, like you said, you're a basketball junkie. You spend a lot of time studying a bunch of different guys, and I'm fairly certain Kyrie is the same way.
Yeah.
Just sits there, and that's all he does on a daily basis is, thinks basketball. And that's contributed to, how awesome he has been.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, look, I appreciate you taking some time. This is going to be our last topic here, and we'll let you get out of here. But, the season coming up, the Mavs have, kind of revamped their roster.
Yeah.
The last season didn't end the way they wanted it to, but, there were Luka and Kyrie were swapping out nagging injuries. They kind of gutted their depth a little bit with, the trade and sending out 2 key starters. And now, things have kind of filled out a little bit more. Luka and Kyrie will be starting the season healthy and refreshed. And you got guys like Grant Williams and Seth Curry in the mix. And then the rookies with yourself and, Derek Lively, Omax Prosper, and the other two-way guys, AJ Lawson and Mike Miles Jr. So, assuming everything goes well, everything goes according to plan, you go into training camp, you end up doing enough to earn that final 2-way contract. What are your expectations, for this first season? Obviously, you'd be spending, a little bit of time with the Texas Legends as well as a 2-way player. But as far as like the Mavs getting back on track, because, a season before last, they were in the Western Conference Finals. So, what are your expectations for the team going into this year?
For the team, I think the team is going to be really, really good. I think Luka and Kyrie are going to blend really, really well together. And people don't understand, last year they only played almost half a year together. I think probably a little bit less. That's not
16 games, I think, is what went them on the court together.
Exactly. So. That's even way more than a quarter. Less than a quarter, So it's just like for them to be on the court together more and going through it more. And that backcourt is phenomenal. That backcourt is dynamic. That backcourt is the best backcourt in the NBA. And I've always said that,
I believe that.
Even before I knew I was with the Mavs and all that, like when I would talk to my friends and stuff like that, I would always say like that backcourt right there is truly the best backcourt. It's the most skilled backcourt. But I feel like them two being together and playing more. Then you have Seth Curry. Then you still have Tim Hardaway Jr., 2 knockdown shooters. Still have who else? Then you get the Grant Williams, who fixes a lot of their defensive problems because he's a defensive anchor. So having him on a team with them too, and then you got the Lively. I don't think people understand him and Omax are going to be. I think they're going to be way better than people really expect. I think they're still raw and they're still new, and they didn't practice with us. They didn't practice at all with us when we were in Dallas because I guess the trade didn't go through yet. So they didn't practice with us until we got to Vegas. So in my opinion, I think those two are going to play a real crucial part. Whenever their number's called, whether it is or isn't, I don't really know about that. I'm not the coach. I don't want to speak on that. But I feel like those two players right there, Omax and D Live, those two are phenomenal.
You can usually tell when you're watching guys like in summer league. Like one of the things that stuck out is you are a natural shooter. You have no problem shooting the ball. Yeah. And with D Live and Omax, you could just tell with them too, like the defensive instincts that they have is going to be something that will have them contributing from day one.
It was not even let's not even talk about offense. Offense is going to come.
Yeah.
The way they play defense and how they just understand it and pick up on other people's mistakes, that's not something you could teach. That's just they just have a natural knack for that,
Which is something the Mavs desperately needed on their roster.
Exactly. But in my opinion, I really do believe the Mavs are going to be really, really good next year. And I just think, obviously, starting with Kyrie and Luka, that's going to trickle down to the rest of the team. And in my opinion, I feel like they can go really, 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 really far. And God willing, I'm on that too, and I'm with them too. I feel like we will go really, really, really far. But
I hope it. I think a lot of people were down on the Mavs, just outside national media people
sure.
down on the Mavs when they missed playoffs. But I kind of feel like it's a blessing in disguise because one, you have the extra time off, to rest and get completely healthy. You didn't have to go through a long playoff run like they did the previous year in the Western Conference Finals. And we saw how that took a toll on their guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, who aren't on the team anymore. But, they have the extra rest, and then you have more time to get acquainted with each other. So, I mean, I can see it. I can see the vision, of getting back to that level that they were a season before last. And like you said, if everything goes according to plan, you'll be right there along with them. And, we'll see if we can get that Exhibit 10 contract converted to a two-way. But
absolutely, that's the goal, God willing.
But Jordan, look, we appreciate you for coming on here and spending a bunch of time with us. And it was a great finally getting to meet you and to talk with you. And hopefully, we can do this again sometime in the near future, with you as a member of the Dallas Mavericks for the foreseeable future. So we really appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate both of you, and I'm beyond grateful for the opportunity. And let's speak it into existence. We're gonna have another interview like this when I am a Dallas Maverick.
Right. Yes. Right. Speak it into existence. We're going to be back here, sometime before the season starts talking about your new two-way contract.
Yeah. I like it.
Well, look, we appreciate it, man. You have a great rest of your day. Try to get a little sleep, but I know, being a new parent and my guy Drew over here being a new parent, it's kind of hard, but get some sleep in where you can and, enjoy the rest of your summer as you're getting ready for training camp.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And Drew, congrats on the baby, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Congratulations to you too, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see you next time, man. You have a good one.
Yes, sir. You too.